So, Jacob, you've just come from a civil service live event talking to 700 members of the civil service about one of your key roles, which is government efficiency. What do you have to say?
Well, what I wanted to say was, first of all, to thank them, because lots of civil servants really do a fantastic job delivering the services that the British public need. And all they ever read about, particularly from me, is I'm trying to reduce the numbers and I want to get them back into the office. And they need to be said thank you to, because they do work very hard, and without them public services wouldn't be operating. So that was the first point. And then to discuss how you reform the civil service to make it more efficient and so that it delivers the services that are needed with lower costs. And that's about providing the learning and development for civil servants so that they can improve the skills that they've got, and as they do that, get promoted and earn more money. So there is a positive for them, but at the same time reduce the total number. And you see this, a good example is DVLA. You know people have had difficulties getting driving licences, so that seems to be a bit better now. But people who applied online actually were getting their driving licences back pretty quickly. So if you were changing your address, you could do it online, and that was returned swiftly. If you were changing your name and your address, you had to do it by post, and that was taking months. And there is so much more you can do, particularly with the ability to check against other databases. Obviously, historically, if somebody was changing their name, you wanted to make sure you weren't creating a false identity. But there are so many cross-checks you can do with data that are available that it's the sort of thing that ought to be possible to do online.
See, people don't normally associate you, Jacob Rees-Mogg, with modernisation, with technology, with using the internet to make things more efficient. But this is a key part of your role now.
It is, but it's also something I find very convenient in daily life, as we all do. I was actually very keen at the beginning of the pandemic to have Parliament meeting remotely, because I felt it was so important that Parliament continued. When faced with the alternative of no Parliament or a remote Parliament, I was arguing very strongly that Parliament had to continue to hold the government to account. What I then went on to say was that now this has passed, we can get back to normal. So it's using technology where it is the right thing to do.
So do you see that in some circumstances, people working from home, flexible working, can boost productivity as well? It's not necessarily a binary situation.
That's absolutely right. For some people in some jobs it works very well. There are some highly technical jobs where you need to get on with the detail of your work and you don't want to be disturbed and you're not in regular meetings, and you can get on with that very well from home. There are other jobs, and they may be developing policy, where you need to be discussing things with your colleagues. You need to issue a passport. You cannot issue a passport from your back room. You really can't, because passports need to be held in a secure environment where you need to be in your office most days. And so it's getting that balance right that I think is so important.